Hello. My daughter is an actual, real, not fake transgender. The vast majority of the so-called trans community is fake, and they are hurting my daughter. They are making an absolute mockery of what a real transgendered person goes through, and they make a mockery of what her suffering actually is. This might get a little long because there's a lot to unpack, but I just need to say it. I decided to make a video because this is something I've been ruminating over a lot, and sometimes I find it helpful to just get things out or say them out loud. My wife and I have a pretty extensive level of experience with, or expertise with, people suffering from mental health issues. Okay, my wife more so than me. She's got more experience, you could say. She worked in the state mental hospital. That's the hospital for the criminally insane. They send them there and find out if you're insane, and if you are insane, then you stay there, and they deal with you until they have whatever pathway you go through. We don't call ourselves experts in any type of field like that, but we are extensively experienced and pretty well read. My daughter was born my son. I love her more than anything, and she still lives with me because I take care of her. I've been through all of the problems with her for well over 13 years now. I have had her committed to the hospital several times, mostly in the beginning, because of her suicidal activity. She's been clinically and legally diagnosed with gender dysphoria. I've also had a lot of experience for long periods of time with people who have autism, bipolar, PTSD, even Tourette's. Quite a few other conditions, along with whatever life experience you can throw on top of that. The first thing I want to unpack is, how do you know a fake? How do you know who is faking being transgender? And I'm going to let you in on a huge secret by doing this. Part of me worries that if I let this out, then all the fakers are going to start copying it, because that's what they want to do. The easiest way to tell if someone is a fake is that person is consumed with how the world sees them, how everyone else sees them or treats them. Okay? They are excited about their pronouns. They're mad at people when you don't use them. They tell everyone how much they suffer because they're being misgendered. Oh, I was misgendered today. Oh, I was this day. And they are consumed about being the victim, okay, of abuse by others. Okay? This is a key thing, because a real transgender person doesn't act like a victim. Okay? They're absolutely consumed with convincing everyone that they have a delusion that they are the opposite sex. I am a woman, okay? I am a woman, and you will treat me as a woman because, yes, I'm a woman, and I define what a woman is, and I'm a woman, okay? These are people trying to convince you that they have a delusion, okay? So much so that they will try to convince you of this fact and have you reaffirm their delusion, okay? They want to get you to treat them the way that you would treat Lincoln in a mental hospital. You got Lincoln in the mental hospital. That ain't Lincoln. What do? Come on, Mr. Lincoln, let's go get your pudding. Call him Mr. Lincoln. Why? Because it's going to piss him off. It's going to cause him to go nuts. And you don't want to do that because they are suffering from a condition. They have a delusion. That's how bad they want to convince you they have this delusion. Okay? They'll do crazy stuff. They will sit there and if they're a man trying to be a woman, they'll use pads or tampons. God, I can't even imagine that. They'll try to breastfeed babies, or they'll try to do whatever. These are dead giveaways. The person's fake. This is a dead giveaway. It's fake. Absolutely fake. They are not transgender. Okay? They can change their outlook. They can go through surgeries. This is how badly they want this. Okay? The lengths that they will go to convince you is just unsurmountable. But it's a dead giveaway. All of these people are fake. Okay? My wife would recount stories at the mental hospital of patients. She would be watching them all day, and then the doctors, who don't see them very often, they go see the patients for an hour a day or 1 hour twice a day or something, anything like that. But they don't see them all day, and they don't see them in candid situations. My wife did. That was her job. She was not just there to take care of them and do these things, but to monitor them and report all that information to the doctors and report all of the behaviors that they exhibit and don't exhibit and what they do and what they don't. And there are telltale signs for her of what they called malingerers. I know it's a weird word, but they were called malingerers. Okay? I believe that's the scientific term, yes. These are basically fakers. They're people who want to be thought of as having an illness or sickness because they're trying to get out of the crime that they committed. Oh, you can't blame me, I'm insane. And the story that sticks in my head is she was like, the guy is in his cell and he craps himself and then starts eating his own crap. She's like, there's not one crazy person that we know of that does this. They don't do this, but he thinks that if he does this, we'll think he's crazy. No, enjoy your dinner. Okay? That's not that. That's a malingerer. They're doing all of this stuff that they think is this. It's not. Okay? And they're making up all the stuff. Okay? And just like a real person suffering from gender dysphoria, they don't care about what other people think. Okay? A real gender dysphoric person doesn't care. That's not the problem. Okay? No one likes to get picked on. Everyone hates to be confronted with things that, they did wrong, or they do this, or they get picked on, or you have, I was a towhead when I was a kid, blonde hair, ooh. And, everyone has that experience. We all go through it. Cinderella went through it. Sleeping Beauty was ostracized for stuff. I mean, come on. Everybody goes through something like that. Okay? My daughter has absolutely no confusion. She is not deluded. She has no denying of the fact that she's male. She has no delusion. She's a woman. She wishes she was, but she knows she's not. See, that's the problem. Okay? That is where her suffering actually occurs. Knowing you're one sex and feeling or wishing in your soul and everything that you have that you were the other sex. Knowing you'll never have the experiences that you really desperately want or wish or think you should have. Okay? The thing that bothers her and stresses her out and has made her suicidal, okay, is because of how she sees herself. It has nothing to do with how others see her or treat her and whether or not they use pronouns. Okay? She doesn't care, couldn't grab a rat's ass. She's a hell of a lot stronger than that. Doesn't care. Doesn't mean anything. Okay? Now, she's not going to be cured of this. We've been doing this for a real long time, and she suffers from this problem because she knows she will never biologically be able to give birth. She's never going to carry a baby. She's never going to have that deep physical connection with the child as it grows inside of her. Never going to have that. All we can do is manage this and try to find ways to make her happy in her life and be happy, okay? If dressing like a girl, which she kind of does a little bit, and she used to put on makeup for a while, she doesn't so much now. She does these things because it's kind of like that's the closest connection she can get to what she knows she's never going to have. Okay? She doesn't do it because she's trying to convince everybody else that she's the opposite sex. She's doing it because it's the closest connection or the closest she can get to what she wants, okay? But knows that she can't have, all right? Imagine for a second that there's this 22-year-old woman who is forced to come to grips that because biologically she had cancer, something came up, she had to have a hysterectomy. 22, she has a hysterectomy, saved her life, but she's never going to be able to have a child now. She's never going to be able to give birth. She's never going to be able to carry the child inside her. She's not going to be able to do all those things that women everywhere get to do. Okay? That is the pain that's in her head. And it's not just like the present or the past that she looks back and goes, oh, I wish I'd grown up a little girl, or I wish I was a girl now. It's the future, okay? If I look at you and I say, okay, imagine yourself at the age of 80. What does your life look like? What do you have? What are you doing? What is that dream that when you are 80 years old and retired, what does it look like? And the wife, we look out, there's the kids, the grandkids, we have picnics and they come visit, and we have a playground in the back because why? For the kids to come and visit and have fun, and we're always the big happy jolly grandparents so that they have fun and they want to come over and they miss us and they want to see us. We do all those things. We're not, all of that great stuff. That's the image in my head that I'm going to have. And now I tell you that you can't ever have that. Your dreams are not possible. All right? That's pain. Dream that I wish I had a kid and I would have these, and these were actually, that's suffering. A woman going, I'm never going to be able to have a kid. Now you've got a person who goes, okay, for a different medical reason, a different biological reason, I'm never going to be able to get these things. All right? Never going to be able to get these things. Okay? If you've ever been through a divorce, you know that the divorce is not just the destruction of your life as it exists and everything that you had is gone and thrown away and all that. It's your hopes and dreams. It's everything in the possible future is gone. You have a long-term marriage, you get divorced. Oh, it's crushing. I've been through, after 20-year marriage, divorce, gone. And you have that image in your head, and it's been destroyed by this person. They decided they wanted to go off and do whatever, and for whatever your reason, your marriage breaks down. I'm not going to go into a diatribe about my ex, but that life is gone. It's gone. And the thing about the difference between that and a divorce is, on a divorce, you can get over a divorce. Most people do. Most. There's always some lingering stuff. But you get over it and you go, okay, I have a new wife. I have a son with my new wife. I still have my kids from the first marriage. I now have a daughter from my wife's previous marriage. 80 years old, it's not going to be the same. The dream's not the same. It's pretty damn close. And it's still a possibility. My dream that I had for the longest time, that's still a possibility. Okay? My daughter's dream is impossible. Okay? It's impossible because it's unrealistic. It can never be a reality. Okay? Her dream, her future that she would so want to have, never going to happen. Can't happen because it's not a realistic thing to happen. Okay? The people who are fakers, when you see them, everybody goes, oh, these people are delusional because they act like this unrealistic thing is possible. Oh, well, men can get pregnant. You're delusional. Well, I'm a woman. No, you're biologically male. You see them as delusional. They're not actually delusional. They're playing this facade because it's part of what has now become the narrative of what this is. Okay? But it is the purest antipathy of what an actual transgendered person goes through and what they suffer from. It's the absolute opposite of that. One of the things that this new fake-filled transgendered community never talks about anymore is the high suicide rate. And you can probably imagine now why the suicide rate for real transgendered people was so high. Your dream is never possible. What do you have to live for? Okay? But now, you never see, you don't notice when a real trans person commits suicide because it's filled with all these fakers. Okay? When you include all of the fakers in the numbers for transgender people, the suicide rates are almost non-existent now. Did you solve the problems? The major problem for real transgender people was the suicide rate. Did you solve it? No, you didn't. You buried it under a bunch of fakers. Okay? Who gives a shit? No one worries about it anymore. This is something I am absolutely terrified with. My daughter lives with me. I care for her. I am terrified. No one gives a shit because everybody is too busy and too consumed with making up new pronouns for new groups of everything. Any and all help that used to be available for my daughter and people who understood her problems, people who knew what was going on and what being transgendered was actually like, it's gone. It's gone. You're not going to find a doctor who knows anymore because they've confused the whole thing and conflated it, and anybody who's trained is trained wrong. They don't know anything. So who's helping her? No one. Anything that she was getting before, which she was before this turned into the new fad, is gone. All of the help, all the resources that she had, gone. The fake trans community has destroyed that for her. And this is right now what everybody is fighting and what everybody is dealing with is all these people who just want to pretend that they have some kind of condition. And I can go into the whys, and there's a million different whys because everybody's different and different types of people have different reasons. There are some big ones, but I'll save it for a different video or something because that would take forever to just go in because it drives everywhere else too. But I know that there's going to be a bunch of people who watch this. Well, anyone who watches this who is trans friendly or something will most likely look at me and go, "Oh, you're just some cis white male. What do you know? You don't even get to have an opinion. Your opinion doesn't count." And I figured out we used to create groups so that we could organize things. That was the whole thing of biology. We have a planet full of animals. Let's just start organizing them so we can make some order out of things. But that's not why they do it. They do it to identify good and bad. And so cis is just the new N-word. That's all that is. Never hear them say it in a very neutral or even a positive way. "Oh, you're cis, that's great." No. Not unless they're being sarcastic about it. Or they're just basically going, "Oh, that's great. This is better." You know? That's the best you're going to get. You know? So, go ahead, feed me all the crap. I'm going to go ahead and post this, and I must be a glutton for punishment.